Hi there and welcome to the next episode of Consistency, and today's number 3 and we're going to talk to you today about keeping your equipment clean, keeping the clubs clean. Very simple, but actually so many of us don't do it. It's very easy to either forget the towel or just forget to clean the clubs in between shots, but particularly with the wedges, and I've got a Mizuno S18 wedge here. It makes a big difference. The more loft on the golf club makes a big difference to how the ball takes off the actual club face and how much it spins. And you probably know the trajectory is fundamental, very important to controlling how far the ball goes, and also how the ball reacts as it's flying, and also how it reacts when it hits the green. So particularly in a short game, you will, or you could notice these things if you paid attention to them. Okay, so I've got an S18 wedge here. You can see it hold up to the camera. Obviously we know about the grooves in the face. Okay, grooves are there to cater for any stuff that gets in between the golf ball and the club head itself. If you make clean contact with the club head, or between the club head and the ball, then you create friction and you create a consistent trajectory, all things being equal, so the ball will take off at a consistent height and a consistent trajectory. And if you're in and around the green, let's assume you're using the same ball, that's another subject, but let's assume you're using the same ball, all things being equal, if you hit that shot with a clean face, then the contact and the reaction will be very different than if you hit it, if there was, let's say you hadn't cleaned it, there was a bit of mulch on there, a little bit of grass, a little bit of, as on this one here, a little bit of the ball covering. You can see the white paint has come off, is on there, so it's almost covering the milled surface, the grooves, with almost like a Teflon coating. What actually happens is the ball makes contact. Let's do it this way. Let's say the club is coming down. The ball is trying then to slide up the club face, and the easier you make it to slide up the club face, the higher it will take off. It actually leaves the club face, the club's coming through, slides up the club face, the ball takes off at a higher point, therefore it takes off at a higher launch angle and a lower spin, because there's no friction on the face to hold the ball and stop it from sliding up the club face. Okay, and actually it doesn't just slide up smoothly, of course, it bumps and it jumps and all sorts of stuff. But if you keep the face clean of debris and grass and mud and rubbish, then you create more friction. And that's why you see on the wedges these days there's a lot of milling. Don't know how well you can see that, but there's a lot of milling in between the grooves themselves. So you've got the groove, that's to allow all the grass and stuff to get into, and then you've got the milling in between, which creates roughness, creates friction, texture on the face, which has an impact on the golf ball and how it takes off. So if you imagine the club coming down, it makes contact with the golf ball, the ball's trying to go up the face, okay, but if you've got the friction on there, the grooves are doing their job, and the milling on the face is actually creating that friction. What actually happens is, rather than jumping up and skidding it up, it actually holds the ball lower down for longer. Okay, the club's moving forward and the ball will actually take off on a lower trajectory with more spin. Okay, because it actually, while it's trying to bounce and ride up there, if it's being held at this point during impact, what it's doing, the ball's actually winding up on itself. Okay, it's not been allowed to slide up the club face. Therefore it's been held in that one point during impact, and the ball is trying to wind up, or trying to spin, and as it takes off with a little bit more spin and a low trajectory. That's when you can get those shots where you watch the players, the players on tour, they can hit it and they can flight it in really low, and the ball stops and it spins back really quickly. That's what they're doing. So clean club face, really important. Make sure you've got a damp towel, you wipe off the face itself, get a little T-peg or those little brushes and just clean the grooves, and get into the habit of doing that, particularly with the wedges, because the more loft, it makes more difference, and you will start to get better at judging how the ball takes off with your short shots, how it's going to fly and how it reacts when it actually hits the green. Okay, so quite a simple one, quite an obvious one, but maybe you hadn't appreciated the impact of not cleaning it. So yeah, give it a clean. Thanks a lot, and I'll speak to you soon.